If you are ready for a breakthrough, this is the month for you. Today we're talking about the astrology of February 2024 and a very special aspect in the sky happening right now that brings us in touch with our courage and our desire to go beyond places where we have held ourselves back in the past. That energy in the sky is the North Node conjunct Chiron in Aries. This aspect will be exact on February 18th, 2024, but it is active all month. So listen up because we need to know how to work with these energies. So like I said, the North Node Chiron conjunction is what we're going to talk about today. We will be talking about what it means, who is most affected, and we will go through what's the damn word? I can't think of the word. We'll go through what it means for each sign of the zodiac. I don't want to say prediction because I don't like that. I don't love that language as much. Welcome on, everyone. How is everyone feeling with these energies, with what is going on in the sky, with the astrology now that Pluto is in Aquarius? How are you all doing? Are you guys feeling it? Is Pluto, making you want to change things? Let me know in the comments. Well, what I do right now is I will just check the sound quickly, and then we will get into our content for today, which I'm very excited about. So don't mind me here. Okay, let me just adjust slightly and see how we do with that. Okay. I'm just fixing the sound really quick. I think we are good there. So, welcome on to everyone jumping on. Hey to anyone, welcome to anyone who's new to the channel. On this channel, I give astrology reports and I try to be as detailed as possible, but we're here focusing on how to make the most of your chart. And also we don't do toxic positivity. So that is what you will find at this channel. You can, let's see, let me see. Is it Vaso? Sometimes when I'm live, I just can't read. It's like too much pressure. Anyway, you can, but this isn't, today we're doing a report, and so I'll be reporting on all signs of the zodiac. Yes, mind, body, spirit, we are just getting started. So if you are just jumping on, you are right on time for today's live video. This is the report of an upcoming transit that's actually going on right now that is affecting our courage, our desire, our ambition, our instincts, and, our feelings of, realizing where we've been holding ourselves back and how we can break through this. Yes. Okay. So Oz is saying you can feel the electric surge of energy. Yes. Okay. There is Venus trine Uranus right now as well. So that's happening this moment. This is the 10th of February. So anyone who has felt, I will say this before we even get into the report of the upcoming stuff. Anyone who has felt a bit of tension the last couple days or a feeling of pressure, like I have to do something right now. I was feeling this last night so bad and I was like, what is going on? And then I looked at the astrology, thank God, because I realized Venus is trine Uranus and these aspects hit us all differently. For me, when Venus and Uranus are together, I get really tense and I feel like I have to do something right now. I need to change my whole life right now. I put a shitload of pressure on myself. And then the second I see that aspect is active, I'm like, oh, okay, it's just the energy. I can just let it pass. I don't have to do something right now. Sometimes when we do things, out of that Uranian pressure, it's more like a knee-jerk reaction, and it ends up being something that maybe wasn't aligned or wasn't really very intentional. You guys all want to ask questions today. You can, but the focus today will be on the report of the upcoming energies. And sometimes when I see good questions, I'll make content out of those. If you're thinking more like personal stuff, you can always book a personal reading. That's the best way to get like a personal question answered. So that being said, let's talk about, I'll tell you guys about about a new type of reading I'm offering, and then we're going to get into the report. The new type of reading is a North Node persona chart. These charts are insanely amazing because the North Node, right, tells us what lessons we're here to learn in this lifetime, what we could work on. But when we learn the North Node by sign, this can be kind of limiting because, like, let's say you're like me and you have a North Node in Taurus. Well, then it means it's right for you to enjoy life, enjoy the senses, and build wealth and build something and, create stability. But that's it. That's all it kind of tells us. The North Node persona chart is going to tell us so much more about what kinds of things are right for us to pursue in order to be happy and fulfilled. So if you're looking for career success, we're going to look at the Midheaven persona chart for that. But if you are looking for happiness and fulfillment in life and you want the whole thing, North Node persona chart. So that is a new reading I have available now. You can book using the link in the description. You click the link, and then when you get to the page, it asks you what type of reading. North Node persona chart is now one of the options. So that being said, let's get back into the energies of right now. So yeah, let's do that. So right now we have the North Node conjunct Chiron in Aries. So Chiron in Aries is our collective wound, right? Because it's a transiting planet, so it's happening to everyone. That says that I'm not capable. I don't want to go first. Maybe I'll let someone else try it and see how it goes for them. Or, I can't decide what I want to do, so I'm just going to hang back and not do anything, weigh the pros and cons around this forever. And as I'm saying this out loud, I feel like I'm calling myself out too. So just know that if you're feeling called out, so am I. I can't tell you guys how many times I have been called out by my own videos, but North Node conjunct Chiron in Aries, again, is going to be us seeing the wound of I'm not capable. I want to break this down. So let's start with Chiron. Chiron is our deepest wound. It is where we have felt so much pain that we tend to brace ourselves against that energy because we don't want it to happen again. Aries is about going based on our instincts and acting first and asking questions later. Aries is about, unbridled, unfiltered, raw self-expression that sometimes bristles people's feathers. It is about taking the lead in your own life and doing what you want. So with Chiron and Aries, this is the wound of feeling like we can't do the things we want to do, feeling like we are not capable of doing the things we want to do because we think someone is going to be mad at us, whether they really are or they're not. Like when we filter ourselves because we feel like someone in our life might not approve, it might make somebody mad, they might not like it. Or also because we feel like we just aren't sure if we're going to be able to do it, so we don't do anything at all. So that is kind of what this Chiron wound does. Now let's talk about what the North Node does. The North Node makes things grow. Okay, the North Node is, in modern astrology, the North Node is about going toward our purpose, right? Going toward our lessons in life. It's the lessons we're here to learn. It's the things that are not comfortable to us that we sort of avoid because it's easier to do what's comfortable. That's going to be our South Node, those old patterns. When we consider the North Node from like the Vedic or even Hellenistic point of view, The North Node means it's almost like a little Jupiter, okay? So it makes things grow, it expands the thing. If the thing is not a good thing, it will expand that thing. So it's not necessarily, the North Node is not necessarily like magical and positive all the time. But it does tend to increase the thing that it's transiting over. And when it's with Chiron, which it is all February, then, well, that means it's going to increase everything we just talked about. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to increase your fear of being, not being capable, but it may increase your awareness, okay? It might increase our awareness of where we feel we can't do things, where we've been holding ourselves back because we feel like we can't do it. We're afraid we can't do it. So since this aspect has been active all February, it will be exact on the 18th. I would love to hear from all of you right now. Have you been feeling this? Have you been feeling that your attention has been brought to areas in life where you feel like you're not fully 1000% living out what you're capable of? Have you been noticing it more? Ways that you're like, you're settling for just okay? Have you been noticing it more? Seeing the thing that you're doing that's holding you back, or noticing it more where you're stagnant in a certain area? Let me know in a comment. I would love to hear how this lands. And we are going to go through each sign of the zodiac for this. So I will be doing a breakdown of what it means for all signs. I want to take a look at the comments here. Hey to everyone. Adriano, I don't understand Italian. I'm guessing that's Italian. Does it say you look so serious? I probably shouldn't be guessing what that means. Let's see. Okay. Let's look at this one. Can we talk about the meaning of the North Node when it's retrograde? I didn't find it anywhere. So the North Node is a point in space, and it is a measurement of where the Earth's orbit, no, let me think about this. No, the moon's orbit around the Earth intersects with the Earth's orbit around the sun. So there's 2 points. Okay, just imagine this is at scale. So there's 2 points where you're going to see that those imaginary lines intersect. And the one that's in front of the Earth, that's the North Node, and the one behind the Earth, that's the South Node. That is what the North and South Node are. So the North Node being retrograde literally means nothing, which is why you don't find it anywhere, because it moves like this. So don't think that your North Node being retrograde is the same as a planet being retrograde, right? Because when a planet is retrograde, that means that planet, from the Earth's perspective, is moving backwards, right? And so because astrology is geocentric, we look at it from the Earth's perspective, unless you're studying heliocentric astrology, which is a different thing. Even though we know now that the Earth revolves around the sun, astrology is still geocentric. It's measured from our perspective. So that all being said, what I'm telling you is the North Node being retrograde or direct really means nothing in astrology when it comes to how it affects your purpose and your North Node and things like that. Thank you for that great question. I'm going to put my glasses on for a second. Jidalia, I don't know if I said it right. Thank you. Welcome on. Hill Oz. Okay, so Hill Oz says, I've noticed that I've limited my potential. I see the bigger picture of where I've held back because of fears. Me too lately. Me too. Okay, are you guys ready to go into what this means for all signs? I'm really excited about this because, I will say the North Node being conjunct Chiron doesn't happen like all the time. So I'm going to encourage you all this month, February, to at least get a little bit outside of your comfort zone. when it comes to what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. Now, that does not mean take some crazy ass risk, but this is a good time because it's like the universe is going to support us in breaking through that Chiron wound of not feeling capable now. And that, that can manifest in different ways, right? It can manifest as not seeing your results that you have that are right there in front of you. It can manifest as, not trying, because then you can't be like, if you don't try, you never have to face the fact that you failed. And it can also manifest as like I do this all the damn time. You want something right here in front of you, and then you go over here, do this other thing over here, because then if you feel that other thing over there, it doesn't feel as bad. And then you're still, not really fully for facing and going through that Chiron and Aries wound. Now, remember, we don't all have Chiron and Aries in our natal charts. This is happening in the sky, but it does affect us. All right. Josh is requesting something good for Pisces. I'll see what I can do. I will see what I can do. And that being said, I think this would be a good time, you guys, to go ahead and pull up the chart. And I do need another drink of coffee first. Are you guys celebrating the Lunar New Year or Super Bowl? I'm not doing either, but it is a big weekend. Okay, hold on. There was a question. Is our sun still a big influence in our career choices? Is our sun still a big influence in our career choices? Yes, very much so. So much so, it's on a video I did recently. Career is in the name of the video. I recommend watching that to see how the different planets affect your career. Your sun sign matters. It will not be your career. Your sun is you, though. It's like what you want, kind of like who you are, your identity. So, if your identity is super humble, you're going to have a super humble career. If your identity is everyone look at me, you're going to have an everyone look at me kind of career, or you'll be happier in a career where everyone's looking at you. Shout out to my Leos. And if you don't know why, if you're like, but I have a Leo sun and I don't want everyone to look at me, then watch my video on why you don't relate to your sun sign. But that being said, we have the chart up, so let's go ahead and get into it. Let's see here. All right, so we're looking at the date of February 18th for this. So that's the date we have this chart for. And that being said, we also, I was just going to say something important. Oh, it's active all February, but we're going to look at this specific date because this is when it becomes this particular transit becomes the strongest, the most intense. But you could be feeling it all month. So we're going to start here with Aries. And for Aries, North Node Chiron is in your first house of your identity, your life direction. So for Aries, what this means is this is a time to really, really see. Now, Aries are not known for holding themselves back, right? So this North Node Chiron conjunction may not necessarily feel to you as much like I'm holding myself back, unless maybe you are, and then that's fine. But what you can be called to do are things that affect your identity. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to get into a new relationship tomorrow or move tomorrow or, start a new course tomorrow. You might. But it's more of a time where you may feel the need to push through any of those kind of areas that you have held yourself back in the past. And let's see what else we can see here, because we have North Node Chiron here. Where's Mars? Mars is in your 11th house, which means it's about maybe relying on friends or a public image or your connections with people or doing group activities to forward your life. Forwarding your life through friends, forwarding your life through deciding to go after a hope or a dream that you've had for a long time that you haven't gone after, or a new one emerges. Feeling like you connect with your friends in order to move your life forward. Or you are just spending more time with friends, and that is a way, friends or acquaintances or networking, and that is a way that you can, push through obstacles and be living your life. So for Aries, I would say, what big thing have you wanted to do? Some of you Aries around the 18th are just going to be doing something big. You're just going to go do it, and it's going to be that simple. With Pluto having entered Aquarius, so Pluto's already here. Pluto's already bringing this emphasis to, have you been hiding your creations, Aries? Have you been making art and saying you're going to sell it and not selling it? Do you have a portfolio of something? Did you write a book and you're afraid to publish it? What are you... Because it's Aquarius and it's the 11th house, it's like, what do you need to put forward to the masses? What do you need to share with more people? What part of you needs to be more public? This might be a time where you're focusing on those things, how you can help the world, how you can help society. So moving on now to the next sign we have, which is going to be Taurus. For Taurus, this is so interesting because we have the North Node and Chiron in your 12th house, and the 12th house represents a lot of things. It's going to represent our fears, our subconscious mind, our isolation, meditation, how we connect to spirit or spirit guides, things that you don't see, like addiction or recovery from addiction or downtime. Things that you leave your regular routine to do, like going on a retreat or a vacation. The 12th house can also be things like mental health or spiritual crisis. That might not be yours. It might be somebody else's. So Tauruses right now can be finding that they are trying to find the courage or feeling more drawn to do 12th house stuff like meditate, feeling more drawn to talk to your spirit guides or, overcome a block in this area. Maybe you have had a fear of connecting with the spirit guide. Maybe you had like a meditation you did one time and it scared you. And so you stopped, and now it's time to try that again. Find the tools or find what you need to find to have the courage to go to those places in the subconscious mind. Some of you Tauruses may just be facing fears right now. Some of you Tauruses may just be meditating and really being courageous at looking at your own psychological stuff. That can be how that's showing up. Some of you Tauruses may be ready to start doing some kind of spiritual work or spiritual, where you're like coaching people or guiding people through their subconscious in some way, through like Akashic records, hypnotherapy, meditation, spirit guides, things like that. Things where people are in an altered state of consciousness, and you're going to be ready to face the fear of starting to do that, especially when it relates to your work, because we have Mars and Aquarius in your 10th house. So Tauruses may be really seeing ways that your work life isn't fully aligned and feeling really motivated at this time to go forward and figure out what that means for you to overcome that. So Tauruses, let me know how that sounds, how that lands in a comment below. I'm going to go on now to the next sign, which is going to be Geminis. Geminis, you've got North Node Chiron in your 11th house of friends, hopes, and dreams, and, groups of people. So Geminis, are you working through a fear of public speaking? Are you working through a fear of teaching something in a group that you've been wanting to teach? Are you now suddenly in front of more people? And are you now suddenly in front of more people and now you need to gather up the courage to speak in front of them? Or let me see here. I'm just going to put these on because it's throwing me off. Yeah, are you now gathering the courage to speak in front of people? Are you going to face your fear of like just being more social? Are you getting out of your comfort zone and networking with different people? Are you expanding the yeah, are you expanding the your social circle? And is it somehow connected to your beliefs or your faith or, getting more involved with spiritual stuff, groups of people who are doing spiritual stuff, things like that? Are you like publicly defending something you believe in? For Gemini, North Node Chiron in the 11th house is really putting you in touch with ways that you have held yourself back from networking, from your hopes and dreams, and for Geminis, what I wonder for you at this point is like, is there something you've been dreaming of doing that now you're finally getting in touch with and feeling connected to? Is there something that like you've been wanting to do, you haven't quite done, that's like involves more people, involves sharing what you know, involves like, I don't know, I get like the image of like just like something really basic, like going to like a Buddhist class, or going to a breathwork class or something else where it's like something you've been wanting to do, something that is connecting your belief systems with people and not being afraid of like something not being afraid of like, how do I explain it? Yeah, something and gaining more knowledge. Maybe for Gemini, it might be being motivated to go on some kind of quest to discover some new thing, but it's like with a group of people. Let me know, Geminis, if that resonates. I love hearing from you. And we're going to go to the next sign, which is Cancer. Hey, Kathy, thank you so much. Good to see you. And Josh, I don't think I said, I see now you said hello from Georgia. I think I did see you say, give Pisces something good. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. All right. So we're going to go next again to the sign of Cancer. Cancers have the North Node Chiron in your 10th house of career. Where have you been holding yourself back from the life that you want career-wise, Cancer? Now, keep in mind that 10th house is our role in life. So let's say you are a stay-at-home mom right now. That 10th house is going to be about that. It's whatever your current role is. Most of us, our role is our job. But some of us, that's not the case. Some of us who, maybe if you're retired, or if you're in a phase of life where you are focusing on studies or something, well, then your role is probably not your job if you don't have one. But it's like your public persona, your public personality. So Cancers, how do you want to go break through in your career? What do you need to be courageous about, especially when it comes to intimacy, right? Because at this time, we've got Mars transiting through Aquarius. We've got Venus there. So it's like, what is going on with trust that has to do with your career? Now, this could have to do with like relationships with coworkers, but it feels a little bit more deep and intimate than that. So the 8th house, because that's where Mars is here, Mars rules the North Node. It's called the dispositor. It's going to sort of be in charge of the North Node. So like Mars in the 8th is like facing fears big time. Facing psychological fears that relate to how you are seen publicly may be a huge theme right now. And with Pluto in that 8th house, it is a time of feeling like you need to transform. If you want more on this and you didn't watch my Pluto and Aquarius video, you gotta check that out. I highly recommend everyone. But basically, Mars is really going to bring a lot of desire to transform right now. And that transformation, there's some kind of opportunity to focus in on your role, your career, and really face that with courage. Now, Chiron in the 10th is one where, if you have this natally, you tend to feel like your achievements are never enough. It's the wound of feeling like wound of not feeling recognized. Okay, so on a minor level, that feeling of I'm not being recognized in my career, I need to go get closer to the boss or get them to see me, or work closely with someone so that I get that recognition, or trust a partner to help or something like that. Now, some cancers may have some weird things going on where like you're working on, especially if you're working on a project with other people, as far as the recognition goes, and maybe not getting enough of the credit and have to kind of almost force the credit to be given to you because it's not just going to be handed easily. That may also be happening. All right, going on now to our next sign, which is going to be Leos. Cancers, let me know how that lands. I always love hearing from you. So for Leos, this is happening in your your ninth house of the meaning of life and traveling, publishing. So Leos out there who've always wanted to write a book, this might be a time where you're like, okay, it's time to write a book. Other Leos who have wanted to travel or just expand, that ninth house is like learning something new, going on a quest to offer higher knowledge, right? And so with Chiron here, it makes me wonder if there's something that almost like Leos, is there something you wanted to learn that you've been afraid to learn? Now you're like ready to have the courage to go learn that thing. Is there a book you wanted to publish? Now you have the courage to do. Is there a course you wanted to take? Something you wanted to get more into related to what you know that would kind of go deep into the topic, either go deep in the topic or be on the topic of like metaphysics or spirituality or something like that. Now might be a time where you want to go do that. You might want to go do something. You might want to go learn something. You might want to go explore something. You might want to get out of your local neighborhood. You might want to start praying to God, and I should talk about Chiron in the ninth because I get a lot of clients with this one. I have this in Placidus. It sucks. It's hard. Chiron in the ninth as a natal placement is the wound of, you feel like you can guide everyone else on their spiritual path. But when it comes to your own, it's like you can't find the guidance you need. You don't have the person to guide you. Or you don't feel like your path has spiritual significance. You don't feel like your life is meaningful. You can see where everyone else's is. So it's the block to feeling like your life is meaningful. It doesn't mean you can't overcome this block, but it's a pain point. Okay, so Leos, this is not your natal placement, but with the North Node and Chiron here in Aries for you in the ninth house, it might be a moment where you are ready to kind of expand your faith a little bit. You are ready to overcome disappointments because Chiron in the ninth can also get really, really disappointed about life, authority figures letting you down, feeling like God has let you down. That can be a feeling that people with Chiron in the ninth tend to have. I want to fix this a little. Okay. So, that is what I have, I think, for Leos. Let me think about this. Also, with Mars in the seventh, there might be something going on, side note, with relationships at this moment that are bringing, Pluto just entered the seventh house back in January 20th, kind of bringing a focus on relationships. And with Mars Venus here, this month things might be getting spicy in your love life. And, you might just meet someone new that you want to go after or that you are pursuing or they're pursuing you. That conjunction in the seventh really does bring sort of a magnetism when it comes to love. And with Mars ruling that North Node, I almost wonder if for Leos, even if you're in a relationship, right now there is something going on that makes you want to pursue either the person or the way of being in a relationship with someone that makes life feel more meaningful. So this can be when you're in a relationship you're already in, where you're you're craving a deeper connection or a deeper level of intimacy, right? With Saturn in the 8th, that's going to bring a focus on intimacy. It's also going to show you where there's trust issues, if there are trust issues in the current relationship. And, you have to be a little more independent in general when Saturn is in the 8th. So let's go on now to the next sign, which is going to be Virgos. Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Chiron, North Node are going to be in your 8th house right now, bringing a focus on trust. The 8th house is the house of sex, death, and other people's money. So when we have a wound to that house, the North Node is going to bring up and sort of reveal, show you things. Where have you been holding yourself back from intimacy? Virgos who have a block when it comes to sex or trust or intimacy, now is the time to go through that. The universe will support you in overcoming that fear, if there is one. Now, if you want to get closer to people, now is a good time. If you are feeling like you're not connected enough, now is a good time to get more connected. That block can also show up with money, right? It might have to do with debt and money and interest and taxes and things like that. And having the courage to face wherever you are with finances, if your finances, especially when it comes to the complicated stuff, not just your income, but like your income that affects other people, or your income that's like tied up with, interest, or tied up with debt, or tied up with even like investing and stuff. This is the time to kind of face any kind of fears you have around that. That doesn't mean, I'm not saying go gamble all your money away. I mean, face fears of like if you're afraid to look at how much money you owe, this would be a time to look at it. If you're afraid to take out a loan that you want to take out, this would be a time to research it and see what it involves, right? So it's about being willing to take that next step with a little bit of confidence, or even if you're doing it while your hands are shaking, like having the courage to take the step. That's what this is about. So again, that 8th house is like intimacy. Now, it may also be related to like tarot or psychic work or things that are related to that. So it might be like connecting with the other side, connecting with spirit guides, things like that. And another thing about this for Virgos is Mars is here in the 6th house. So it's interesting because it's like, maybe some Virgos this month, especially around the 18th, are like, okay, I need to create a plan to pay off debt. And here's my day-to-day schedule of what I'm going to actually do every single day in order to make this happen. Here's what I'm going to stop doing. Here's the places I'm going to stop going and spending money. Here's the actual routine I'm going to have. Every time I want to go spend money on this, I'm going to do this instead. And you actually really itemize it. That's one way this could show up. For other Virgos, this could be more about work and the things you're doing every day to sort of, again, I can't get away from this feeling that it's about paying off debt or investing or money or like long-term investments or something, some kind of income or financial related stuff. But this might be a time where you're sort of really facing something that's not easy to face related to how your daily schedule, your work connects with how much money you have and how much money you owe, and really kind of getting clear on what's not pleasing, what's not pleasant about this right now, and sort of taking it into, this is what needs to change about my day-to-day life. And that's the part that I really get the focus on. Now, Venus is here with Mars right now in that 6th house on the 18th. So it's like something sweetens up your daily life. So something is making it better, more pleasing. While at the same time, something is making it, bringing a need to really focus on being busy or working hard or speeding things up. Or Mars, tends to bring activity. So Mars is bringing activity to that 6th house. For some Virgos, this might be dieting or changing the health regimen, getting more exercise. For others, it might be doing more work or doing work that requires a faster pace. Again, that North Node Chiron bringing an expansion to things that require trust and intimacy, and also possibly things that have to do with debt or other people's money or finances. So that is what I have for Virgos on this one. Let's go on now to the next sign, which is going to be Libra. For Libras, and you guys, Virgos, let me know in a comment how that resonates. Remember, this exact snapshot of the sky is on the 18th of February, but the North Node Chiron conjunction is happening all month. So you'll be able to draw on that courage to break through in that house based on that for all of February. All right. So going on now to the sign of Libra. Libras have North Node Chiron in your 7th house of relationships. So this is the time to break through in ways. Now, some of you are already going to be in a relationship. So maybe you're calling on more courage for something within the relationship if you're single. If you're coupled, and if you're single, maybe it is about breaking through a period of isolation or being willing to be a little bit bold. For people who would be more like the pursuing partner, this might be a time where you're like, you meet someone you just can't get enough of, you have to go after them. For the person who might be more the pursued partner, this might be someone else doing that to you, whether you're in a relationship or not. You might just be getting some attention. Pluto entered that 5th house on the 20th of January, bringing our focus for Libras onto pleasure. Okay, so this might be a time to have a new, especially with Jupiter in the 8th, which is also a more sexual house. Libras might actually be really feeling like, am I getting enough pleasure in life? You might be in a stage where, or a season of life where it's about focusing on things that make you happy, bringing more joy into your work, or bringing more joy into your life, and, through things that are pleasureful. There might be some weird stuff going on, though, with Pluto here, especially when Pluto Mars, with having, I'm almost feeling like for Libras, there might be something where you don't get what you want. It's like where you have a really strong desire and you're not able to meet that desire. And maybe this will be, let me think. Yeah, like maybe adjustments might have to be made for Libras related to what you want to do for fun and what you have to do. Something like that. As far as the potential for the breakthrough with Chiron in the 7th, it's about having the role in the relationship that you want to have and having the courage to take the lead where you need to. But also kind of get what you want in relationship. Now, I don't mean like manipulate to get what you want. I mean like, if you've always wanted to be able to talk to your partner about a certain thing, having the courage to start the conversation, right? Having the courage to not just have your role be like, not just let the other person determine who you are in the relationship, but to be able to step up and step into kind of being more of a conscious creator of the kind of relationships you want to have, whether it be romantic or otherwise. That's what I feel for Libras. So, it really is like, am I getting pleasure in my relationships? Are my relationships pleasing to me? Are they pleasing to the other person? And the North Node is just going to bring a lot of focus on that currently. But with Chiron, it's like, okay, what's not working here? And how can we adjust? That is what I feel. For a lot of Libras, this might be really pleasant and nice. So that's also what I feel. Next sign is Scorpios. Hello, Scorpios. Okay, you guys have North Node Chiron conjunct in your 6th house of your work, your health, your daily habits, your work, health, daily habits, your pets. What are you doing? Your daily routine. What are you eating? Are you working out? North Node Chiron might be a moment where you break through, like you're like, fine, I'm going on a diet. I'm going to have the courage to go on this diet. For others, it might be something more related to your role in work, because the sixth house is like, it's like your job, because it's like the role you do in work, but it's not the part, it's not the part that you get paid. I don't know how to explain that. Let me try to explain this. The sixth house is work we gotta do. Sometimes we get paid for it, sometimes we don't. The dishes, right? The chores, the errands you run after work. Some people say that's in the third house, but that's debatable. The smoothie you make for breakfast, the food you're eating. The sixth house is your daily schedule, your routine, your 9 to 5 or your whatever to whatever. So the North Node Chiron here is a moment of maybe bringing courage to this area, courageously facing a fear related to your sixth house of work. Maybe it has to do with coworkers. Maybe you are going to start working from home with Mars in the fourth. Maybe you are just making some kind of change that requires courage, that has to do with your home life or how you feel emotionally, because Mars is in your fourth house of home and Pluto just entered this house. So it's not just home, it's also your emotional foundation, which means whatever's not sitting right with you in terms of how you feel in your body and your emotions, and the deepest part of your soul, Pluto's going to show you that, right? Pluto's going to show you, here's where we are not feeling at home in our own skin. And, whether you choose to deal with it or not, with Pluto, sometimes you don't have a choice though, right? Sometimes Pluto it forces a surrender here in that fourth house of, again, feeling at home in your own skin. Why would you surrender to that? Well, maybe because something comes up that makes you realize how much you don't feel at home in your own skin at a job or in a certain role, or because of a certain habit, or because of a certain health lifestyle. Okay, those are some of the ideas I get here. Unless you're a Scorpio who right now is like buying a house or investing in real estate or something, it could be that. But the North Node Chiron is about having the courage to, create, to consciously create what you want to create in your day-to-day schedule. And this might have to do with facing something, especially related to your home. Like for Scorpios who maybe your home life isn't conducive to the job you want to have or something, that might be coming up here. But for others, it may be more like, rather than your home, it might be like the routine that you have when you're at home is really the part that's under focus at the moment. So that's what I have for Scorpios. Let me know if it resonates. And I'm going to check the comments before we move on to Sag. Oh, okay. Kathy's saying, I didn't check, but it's going to happen right on your DC. Not looking for a partner. Okay, yes, the DC. That's a big moment, and you'll see what you want to courageously face, and that's a great point. That you may not look for a partner. You may have made a really, really good close friend. Sometimes the seventh house can be close friends, or even like someone you pay to work with, like a lawyer or consultant or something. And this Virgo is petrified. Don't be petrified. I'm in it with you. I'm a Virgo rising. We're in this together. Oh yeah, totally. We'll just make it about that, Kathy. Just make it about that. A business partner. Yep, that's a good point as well. All right, let's go on to the next sign here, which is going to be Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, we have this happening, North Node conjunct Chiron here in your fifth house of the fun house. Ooh, Saggies. Saggies, here's what I feel for you when it comes to Chiron North Node. For Sagittarius, this is going to be you overcoming any blocks you have to receiving pleasure, you overcoming blocks you have to having fun. If you have been, Saggies, you guys like having fun. Okay, so if you've been in a stage of life where you've been all boring and you've got a big Saturn transit happening, or you've been focused on responsibilities, this might be a time where you decide to just do something wild and crazy. Do something you enjoy that you haven't done in a long time. Pick up a new creative passion or an old one that you set aside. You might remember how much you love doing something, or you might discover a new passion that you didn't do before. You know, you might start singing or start creating or start doing something fun, or like painting or something, you know, just something fun and creative, right? And creativity is not always painting. Sometimes it's like cooking food in a creative way, or sometimes it's like, you know, I mean, sometimes it is like sketching or like a visual, being visually creative, but it can be being musically creative, being poetically creative, being fun, you know, go creating experiences, right? Sagittarius is all about the experience. And, you know, there might be also something here about self-employment, because self-employment is in the 5th house. So some Sagittariuses may find that this is a time where you have a breakthrough in your self-employment, where you courageously do something new. You start a new business. If you already have a business, you are expressing yourself in a new way within your business that requires you to overcome some fears of, you know, it's like doing the thing you've always wanted that you just weren't sure if you could do it, kind of a thing. And maybe you didn't always want it. Maybe it's a new thing, but either way, it's this breakthrough of creativity, expressing yourself creatively, being who you are with what you do. Now, the next thing to look at here is Mars here in the 3rd. Now, some of this might have to do with your neighborhood or your expression, right? Like when it comes to how you express your thoughts. So for a lot of Sagittariuses, even if self-employment isn't the thing and nothing else I talked about applies, how do you express what you think? This might be a time where you are ready to start doing that in a way that maybe you didn't before, or in a way that is just a newfound focus on your thoughts or other people's thoughts, or things you're learning, or things you're speaking. There's an emphasis here on being heard for Sagittariuses. So that is what I have for you guys. Let me know in a comment if that resonates. And we're going to move on now to Capricorns. For Capricorns, we have this happening in your 4th house of home. And that means that you can have a breakthrough when it comes to feeling good in your own skin. You can have a breakthrough when it comes to a sense of belonging. And with Mars in the 2nd, this might have more to do with your income, the money you're making, and something that really brings your focus on how you're making money. For Capricorns who work from home, it's going to be that. But it might also be something like you focus on something related to family, or you focus on something related to, like for those who are like the breadwinner, I would see how this would make sense, where it's like more focus on being able to care for and support your family through what you have, what you own, the money you make. For those who that maybe doesn't apply, this can be like focusing on, this could be an emotional breakthrough that leads to more income, or an emotional breakthrough around money, an emotional breakthrough that you find through the pursuit of money, or an emotional breakdown/breakthrough that happens as a result of, I don't know, maybe a change to income, a loss of income. It's possible. Not every Capricorn is going to lose money. But it does feel like when Mars and Pluto meet up there in the 2nd house, there is a change to how you make your money. Or there is a need for dealing with a problem that maybe has not been addressed before. Pluto is going to basically show you, if the way you make your money is not aligned, then you're going to feel it. Okay, you're going to feel it, and you're going to want to do something about it. I'm trying to think of what else this can be for you guys. Yeah, it's really like courageously facing the root cause of possible challenges that you've had related to how you feel. like how you feel and what is the meaning of life. Just one second. Okay, so Capricorns, let me know if that resonates. Let me know if it makes sense. I love hearing from you. And we're going to move on now to the next sign, which is going to be Aquarius. For Aquariuses, the North Node conjunct Chiron is happening in your third house of communication. So you may have a breakthrough when it comes to your mind, how you communicate, what you have to say. It might be a time where you're just simply focusing more on launching something that is related to communication, launching an email list, launching a blog, launching a YouTube channel, launching a podcast, launching something. Something like that. It can also be, some of you, it might have to do with siblings, but really that third house is about communication and curiosity. Maybe there's something you've wanted to learn that for whatever reason you could not allow yourself to do before. And with Pluto having entered your first house, which is like the house of you, back on the 20th of January, this is bringing an emphasis on, is my life in alignment with myself? Am I in alignment with my life? Does my job, my identity, where I live, and who I'm with, do they all match up to who I feel like I am right now? If the answer is no, Aquarius, you're going to feel that at the moment. And, with Mars here meeting up with that Pluto, it kind of brings a desire for your most authentic life, but it's like the breakthrough comes through the communication. And this is going to depend on where you're at, Aquarius. If you have been holding back what you have to say because you're afraid people are going to think you're stupid, or because you haven't had the courage to really just put it out there, this would be a time to overcome that. And a lot of you Aquariuses are like launching something, you're getting something off your chest, you're finding ways to communicate and be heard. People with Chiron who naturally have it in their third house natally, not naturally, that's not a thing, but people who have natal Chiron in the third, it's like they want to say something, but they feel like they can't, right? This is also Chiron in Gemini. You want to speak up, but you feel like you can't because you know how painful it is when people don't listen to you, right? And when someone doesn't listen to you, you feel it, you take it personally, and it means something to you. So for people who have this in their natal chart, the way to work through it is to be able to not be listened to sometimes and find a way to not take that as personally, to be willing to see that maybe that happens to everybody and not personalize it. And then to learn how to listen to others and to learn how to take the importance off of what you have to say so that, when someone doesn't listen, it's like, okay, it's fine. They didn't listen. Let me tell them again. Let me say it in a different way. So I just made that life lesson sound really easy. For those of you who have it, there's more ins and outs to it. But because this is happening in transit for Aquariuses, some of these pain points may be coming up at this time. Where are you not being heard? What needs to change in your life because you're not being heard, because you're not being listened to? Where are you just shouting into the void and like nothing's coming back? It might be a time to either get a megaphone or shout to someone who wants to hear. Find the people that want to hear the things you're saying or something like that. For some Aquariuses, this might have to do with like your marketing, right? Where it's like you're just learning how to speak in a way that people want to listen rather than personally being heard. Either way, I expect y'all to be busy right now because Mars is in your first house and Pluto's there. So it's just bringing a lot of intensity to your identity and changing things that are more things that you would self-define as, right? So again, changing where you live, changing where you, what you do for a living, changing how you communicate. If your job is communication, changing that, all those kind of things. So going on now to the next sign, which is going to be last but definitely not least, our lovely Pisces. And I will do my best to give you something good. I'm going to check the comments again. I just saw this one from David from Fairfield, Iowa. Have to rest a lot. Okay. Glad you're here. All right, let's go now to our Pisces for this North Node Chiron conjunction happening on the 18th of February. We have North Node and Chiron in your second house of money. Pisces, it's time to heal those money fears. What do you want to do and get paid for that you have been afraid to do? What is the next step toward the next level of income that you want to reach? That you're terrified of, because we have Mars in that 12th house of fear with Pluto. Pluto entering your 12th house will bring awareness to subconscious fears that you did not know you had. Mars being the ruler of your money house in that 12th house with Venus. This would be a time to, how do I put it? It's like having a financial breakthrough, but watch out, Pisces, watch out for something that you have to, it's like, I just don't want you guys getting scammed right now is what I don't want. Because you have North Node in the second house, bringing you to a point where you're like, it's time to focus on money. It's time to face those fears. Whatever you don't like doing with money, it's time to do it. It's time to look at if you have felt like you've held yourself back financially, the North Node's saying like, look at this. Here we have this wound. Here's the pain point. And Mars in the 12th, this is the part where in traditional astrology, when your money planet is in the 12th house, sometimes one of these significations are loss of money. Now, that can be something that is an expected expense, right? So it could be like paying a tax or paying a debit or like losing money in that sense where you're consciously directing it. But last time my second ruler was in the 12th, I lost some money and it sucked because I paid for something that I thought I was getting something good and it wasn't, and it was like it set me back pretty bad. So the point is, if you're going to buy something big, make sure it is what you want it to be. Make sure that it is the right financial decision right now. I'm not giving you advice. Let me rephrase that. I'm going to rephrase it to just try not to lose your money right now. Try not, and I would watch for the idea that if I only invest this much money, I'm going to get so much back. Unless you have a proven system that's already working, I would watch out for that at this time. That's what I would watch out for, because you might feel the pressure, to make more money, but that Mars in that 12th house gives more of a potential that a big investment may not pay off or something. So again, it doesn't mean that will happen, but just watch out for that. Let me see if I can find something good. I was trying to give you guys something good. The financial breakthrough can be all kinds of stuff, right? It can be learning to feel grateful for your money. It can be learning to call on spirit guides for money, especially if you're doing things like rituals or something like that. It can be mixing money with spirituality. It could be making an investment into some kind of spiritual practice, spiritual course, meditation thing, retreat or something. So that could be one positive manifestation here. Investing into 12th house matters. Some of you, Pisces, if you're really not okay, you might be like, this could show up as someone investing into treatment of some kind. I'm not saying this as advice. It's just what could be happening. And it's like the desire for a financial breakthrough and the awareness of where you've maybe been holding yourself back financially, or what needs to change, what needs to be released. This could lead you to actually let go of some possessions. I would say that might be another positive manifestation, especially around the 18th. Pisces out there, sun, moon, and rising. Letting go of the physical things that have held you down. Letting go of things that are broken, that aren't working. Just clearing up that energy. This would be a good time to do that, because it's almost like Pluto's going to help you do that anyway, so you might as well get on board with it. And again, financial breakthroughs, sometimes it means seeing the consequences of something negative. It's almost like doing a budget and being like, oh shit, I spent $500 on food last month that I didn't want to spend. Or adding up, if you smoke cigarettes, like adding up how much you spend on that every month and then looking at it and seeing, oh my God, it's $1,000 and knowing that you're broke, right? That's like what this moment might be. But this is a necessary moment to make the decision that's going to cause the breakthrough. Sometimes you cannot have the breakthrough until you see clearly why you would want to. And sometimes that means seeing what's not working. Now, not all Pisces are going to be a train wreck when it comes to your finances. For some of you, this might be more like seeing where you're stopping yourself from getting to that next level financially, right? So like seeing where you're afraid to take a next step with your money, that's like the thing that would make sense or the thing that would be good for your finances. But it's like, it's scary. It's scary to have your own business, or it's scary to ask for a raise or something else like that, where it's facing the financial fear, or not even like just having the courage to put it out in the open. Like if you don't know where you stand financially, having the courage to face it, to even see and write down on paper how much you owe if you're in debt, or to ask your boss if you don't know right now, what the potential is in your position, right? Negotiating and the fear of that. Now, I'm not promising that these actions are going to result in some amazing positive thing, because with Mars in the 12th, it kind of lends toward a more negative manifestation. Now, Mars won't be there forever, but it's almost like facing a financial loss at this time. And it doesn't mean the loss is happening now. Maybe it's like looking back over last year's budget and going through all the losses and seeing them, that kind of thing. I'm trying so hard to make this positive, and that's the best you guys are getting. So again, for Pisces, it's about having a financial breakthrough by facing the fear, and seeing wherever you may have been holding yourself back from a higher level of income, and maybe just realizing what it would take to be that higher level version of you. So that is what I have for Pisces. So overall, I do want to say that this transit is going to bring us in touch with where we're holding ourselves back from the things we really want, right? And where we are letting someone else take the lead, where we are just sort of going along and not really being intentional. We're just going along with what is because it's comfortable. This is a time to step out of our comfort zones and do things that we want to be doing to make the world a better place, right? Because not only is the North Node and Chiron in Aries, we've got Mars conjoining that Pluto in Aquarius, which is all about collective, like helping the collective. So, I still have the chart for Pisces. So for Pisces, maybe it's about seeing how you could help more people with what you do for money, and really seeing how you need to make enough money to help others, right? That might just be our collective lesson for the day, for the transit, for the astrology, with the North Node conjunct Chiron in Aries, but Mars being in Aquarius, Mars being the ruler of the North Node right now, and being in Aquarius where Pluto is. So Mars is now really bringing up that Pluto energy of like things that are here to help the world, make the world a better place. That's Mars in Aquarius and Pluto in Aquarius. Now, Pluto in Aquarius has other things going on there besides just making the world better. I mean, Neuralink just happened, right? The first person just got Neuralink. I don't support this. I like Elon Musk. I do not support putting chips in people's head. Like, it's just, I think, and I will say, I think the line with AI is, does it take away humanity, right? Because I don't think ChatGPT takes away humanity. I don't think that if they replace fast food workers with robots, it would really take away humanity. But it's the things that like take away our humanity and our soul and puts it into a computer, those are the things that to me just feel kind of like we are living out the Matrix in real time. It's so crazy. But also remember, remember that wherever Pluto is, that's going to be our collective fear at the moment. So now with Pluto in Aquarius, guess what we're all afraid of? Robots taking over the world. We are all afraid of AI, turning on us and killing us all, right? Like that's the deeper primal fear that's going to get brought up. And this is a 20-year transit. So just like now is a really good time to, if you are someone who gets scared of this stuff, if you are someone who starts thinking about the future and how we're all going to have chips in our head and how we're all going to be controlled and, you start getting doom and gloom about this is a good time to sit with that fear now and bring love to that fear and face that fear and, just not let that fear overrun you because what can you do? Right? Like we can only do so much about those kind of fears that when we let a fear like that grow and we feed it, right? Because we all have fears, but when we feed that kind of a fear, what does it do? What does it accomplish? It only takes us away. It only takes us out of what we would be doing right now to bring our gifts to the world, which is the opposite of Aquarius energy anyway, is engaging with life. Now, there's a lot of negative sides of like Leo energy, shadow sides that every sign has a shadow. So there's a lot of shadow sides of Leo that Pluto in Aquarius is going to help. For example, celebrity culture. Celebrity culture is not going to be a thing anymore because people see what's behind the curtain. And that's kind of what I feel like Aquarius energy is in a way. It's the moment when you realize the Wizard of Oz, what it really is, and that it's just an illusion. It's just a projection. Now, some of that's Neptune energy too. But it's about realizing what's really going on behind the scenes to make the show go, right? The show is Leo and Aquarius is all the things that are behind the scenes making the show go on. So Pluto in Aquarius is going to put us in touch with all the things behind the scenes in our society and in our world that make something that's showy, right? So we're going to see more truth about like how diamonds are made, and we're going to see more truth about how cell phones are made, and we're going to see more truth come out about all of the things that look so beautiful and shiny on the surface, but deep down there's a shadow side of how that thing is created. We're going to see more truth come out about how celebrities are actually made into stars and how the things they actually have to do to get that fame. All that stuff is going to become more and more and more transparent the further Pluto gets into Aquarius. And just to recap what this transit means for us all, this transit happening on the 18th of February, this is a time for us to face our fears and to really see where we need to just be a little bit more open and take that thing that you've been wanting to do. Take that thing that you've been thinking about and you've been hoping you could do someday that you're maybe a little bit afraid of, but you want to do it, and just take one baby step toward it. And remember that when it comes to Chiron wounds, and we're trying to heal these Chiron wounds, it doesn't always just heal the first action we take, right? So if you're like overcoming a fear of getting on stage, you do not just get on stage once, kill it, and then live happily ever after. You get on stage and you bomb, and you are afraid to pee your pants the whole time you're up there, and you practically black out and don't know what you said, and then you learn from that, and then you do it again, and you keep doing that until you get to this point where maybe you don't want to pee your pants so bad next time. Maybe maybe when you're up there, it's a little bit less frightening. So remember that when we're going through these Chiron wounds, it's not about the guarantee of success. We can't let the guarantee of success hold us back, because the process involves doing the thing that we're not comfortable with and letting it be okay if we don't do it perfectly, and letting the fumbles and the faults and the the real life experience of putting ourselves out there in whatever way, that's part of overcoming the wound, is being okay with the negative consequences of making a mistake, being okay with it not being perfect. So remember this throughout the month this month, as you feel guided or feel called to have courage and make changes, that when you have courage to make changes, usually it's not an overnight success. Usually there's some fumbles and some blunders, but going through that Chiron wound is about being willing to make the mistakes so you can get to the other side, being willing to do it in an imperfect way and in a human way, because it's worth it to be living your life. So that is what I have for this video. If you are just jumping on the live, you can go back and watch the section for your sun sign. And also I have a new type of reading available. It's called the North Node Persona Chart. It is a chart that tells you all about your North Node, but it gives you more information than just the sign in the house. It's actually more like the path to your purpose when it comes to the fulfillment and happiness side of your purpose. Now, if you are looking for the path to your highest potential in career, that's going to be the Midheaven persona chart, because the Midheaven tells us about our career and our work we're here to do in the world. And the North Node tells us what patterns we can develop to be happy. So, you can book that. You can book a North Node persona chart reading in the description below. And there's an option, if you just go to the natal chart, there's an option to book that reading as far as that goes with, you can just choose North Node persona chart. All right, guys, I hope you have a beautiful weekend. Happy Lunar New Year. Happy Super Bowl for those of you who are into that. I'm not so much, but some of you might be, and that's fine too. Anyway.